G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens, heading into round 15. It is all starting to heat up now. Welcoming back my partner in crime, T-Rex. Tough weekend, SuperCoach-wise. How are we feeling?
Yeah, it was not a great week from my end. Like, it wasn't bad by any means, but it just wasn't. I saw a bit of a red arrow. It was more that you had an absolute barnstormer. That,
I thought you forgot to set your bench, or didn't pick a captain or something. No. Oh, was that your? Oh, proceed.
You know what annoyed me the most? I was like, when I was going through your team, I'm going, oh, he's going big. I'm like, at least he didn't pick Wishart. Oh, wait, he followed me into that as well.
Oh, how good is Wishy?
Yeah, look, mate, sometimes there are days where I come in here and I've been done fair and square, and you've just got to cop it on the chin, and I'll give you your credit this weekend. You had a stormer.
Now, I will just call myself out on something. You remember last week when I sat there and I was like, oh, I just don't feel like this is the season. I don't feel like it's happening. That has all been fucking flipped. Now I'm feeling $1 million ready to go. So shout out to our guru of last week, who's a complete and utter fucking twat.
And where that's what I tell people. You know, I constantly reiterate like how easy it is to jump rank and how easy it is to fall and how quickly things can change. And we'll get to scores. And if you roll out your score and rank.
So I scored 1,238 with a rank of 6,030. I'll tell you what, Timmy. I don't want to sound like a dick here, but
It's just something new.
1,238 with Drinky as captain. Fuck, it could have been a monster week for me.
You had a ripper. You had, like, if you ton players, you had, like, Wishy, Pod, borderline super Pod. I think he's about 10%.
Lomax.
Early disclaimer as well. It's been a big few days for us. The public holidays sent us back a peg. It's all good and well for your Monday to Friday workers, but it kind of just screws us over. So we did the bloke potty yesterday, 4.5 hours.
Well, 4.5 on camera.
On camera, yeah, on camera. It was a 9 till sort of 9 or 10 day. There'd be people out there struggling at that and laughing at us, but big day.
It's a lot of yapping.
It's a lot of yapping. So if the throat goes more than usual, into Playbook, you went into your team list stuff. Big day, so we're chasing tails a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get
And Tim mentioned earlier as well, it's worth noting on Monday, like we had to go into a private box and have free beer and stuff. So, which I don't quite get. I actually quite enjoyed the experience, but come from different cloth, I guess, you know. No, but yesterday was a big one. It was a big day. I just if I would have VC'd Trell or Lomax, which I was so close to considering, even if I would have, even at like fucking Fafita was my VC and he updated by like 20, 30 points. Like even if I would have taken that,
because he was
it would have been massive.
I was saying I had Fifi VC, bit of a ring.
Fifi VC, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was like maybe late 60s. I I can beat that. Then when he updated to 81, I've gone, I would have taken that.
I think he was 61 at the end of that game.
Yeah,
he was.
Like 80 I would have taken.
Yeah.
For sure. I'll tell you what though, as per, I say it all the time, but like I was sitting there watching the Cowboys game, watching Scott Drinkwater score a try and be on 18. I was like, fuck me, this is going to be a tough afternoon. Then I looked down at our matchup and saw you captained him too, and I just went, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
So I went 1,040 points. I actually thought, like, going through the round and missing, like, AFB, Latrell, Lomax, and seeing you had them, I've just gone, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I dropped 1,200 spots to 10,200 overall. So, like, it wasn't horrible, but I thought I probably got away with it a little bit. Wishy it was just a lifesaver. But, mate, I'm 10,200. You're what? 6,000?
6,030.
6,030. There's over 4,000 spots between us, and it's 170 points.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
close.
literally
this
a
year.
Lomax.
It's a Lomax, yeah.
It's just one big game.
It's a Lomax v. Jaden Bailey getting benched before kickoff and pissing Tim off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was
Playing
a stinger.
20 minutes.
That was a stinger. Catmandu,
Go.
good to see you.
Good to see
How
you.
are
boys.
you?
I'm really good. I'm feeling fresh. Very chill weekend.
Oh.
Didn't have to worry about being in the box for the Bulldogs game because I didn't get an invite. So was just able to rest and and get refreshed for the week.
To
With
be
comments
fair,
like that, it's no shock you didn't get invited now I think about it.
Which is interesting because we were in the Guru Suite. How long have you had that named after you, mate?
It's been a minute. They're working on the statue to put in there of me. Yeah, look, we can't win them all.
Yeah.
You weren't able to win that one, but how'd you go on SuperCoach over the weekend?
I had a decent week in SuperCoach, which I needed. I had a green arrow week, we like to say.
Bang.
So 1,098.
Yep.
Not too bad. I did captain Fafita. So,
Nice.
yeah, and I VC'd Latrell in the same game. So that gave major rookie
Yeah, that was
status.
smart footy. That was real smart footy, that was.
And I thought, I was onto something with the VC choice. Just picked the wrong game. But yeah, moved up slightly, 3,000 something points or spots. So 33,000th is my rank.
And how many trades you got left?
20. I have 23 trades left and 2 boosts left.
Yeah, nice. You're in a good spot. You're in a good spot to make some moves, make some waves. Do we have any about even updates?
Yeah, sorry, my eyes are just like watering
I
like
thought you
crazy.
were crying.
I'm
Man.
getting a bit emotional.
Must be
over
looking at
this.
Tim's rank.
Oh, it's going to be a tough show.
One moment.
Wildcats gets that. So trades we made last week, Timbo, just to remind people, I ended up going a little bit of a pod play, which I'm hoping will pay dividends over the next few weeks, and it came from the absolute fucking stars on Saturday night. I went for Jesse Ramian.
That did come from nowhere.
It came from nowhere. I've got Hines still. I've got Britton Nicola, who actually put his finger out of his arsehole the other night, which was great to see. And I'm going to go Jesse Ramian. I'm hoping round 19. Are you okay?
No, my eyes are watering like crazy. I can't open them.
Like you lost a fight with an onion over there. So yeah, I brought in Britton. I did bring in Britton Nicola a few weeks ago, which has been painful to watch. But I also brought in Jesse Ramian.
I love how the only thing you did on a whim that didn't seek my advice was Jesse Ramian, who got 40 points.
Oh, I mean, Lomax, Latrell. I mean, come on. Come on. By the way, shout out to my draft team who had Lomax as my VC and still fucking lost this weekend. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Mate, I did end up doing 2. What were they? So I got Ruben Garrick in. We spoke on the show last week, like recording Wednesday before Origin. We said there's a lot of implications to come out of it around trade. So it was very tough to get a gauge on that, who would back up, etc. And we were saying how we didn't like a lot of the options. And I went through them and I went, players were dropping like flies, need to get a full 17 together. I'm probably going to have to trade. And then I found Garrick and I'm like, plays the 2 major buy rounds, proven gun, season keeper. I thought, right, perfect. Need a little bit of confirmation. Like, let's really lock this down. Looked at his draw, and man, his draw's unreal. Especially after that Penrith game, they end up scoring 93. Pardon me. So I got Garrick, and very, very happy about it. And the other trade, sorry, I'm good now, I promise. I ended up getting Samuel Afinu in because I'm carrying Curran, Farmer Steely, Sam Hughes at front row.
Yep.
And I did actually flag this on the show that I probably needed to address that. So I got Finu with his dual positioning, which has allowed me to switch Finu and Curran this week, and I now have Terrell May and Finu in front row, so I'm not a man down and all sorted. So we'll get to trades later, but they're 2 players who played around 16 and 19, so my numbers for those 2 weeks looking particularly good now.
So how many trades you got left?
19.
19. So we're both on 19.
Well, if I'm on 19 and you're on 19, then yeah, we're both on 19.
Am I on 19? I think I am. Yes, I'm on 19. If I use 2 this week, I'll be 17. Okay, sweet.
And then I've got for round 16, so next week, the second major bye week, I've got about 16 players or something. So it makes it a weird time to trade. I'm like, do I need to?
Yeah.
Happy with the team. So we'll get to that a bit later.
Okay, top scorer this week in the Beers and Breakeven League. Great name, by the way, Dylan. Hopper Smell My Finger. Very, very good gear. I'm very impressed with that. So Dylan sent an email to beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. Football's arriving very soon. Received the invoice for them yesterday, which I've got to send half of that to you, Timothy of Williams fame, which reminds me. And then, they will be out to you very, very soon. So send your address to beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. Slippery Martin, still at the top.
Back at the top, some would say, after being number 2 last week. So in the top 10, we currently have 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And yeah,
I'm low-key cheering on...
Sia Wong.
Well, yeah, number
Sia
8.
Wong's into
Sia
8th.
Wong. There's another name that caught my attention, but I've just read it twice and probably won't say it.
Did you want me to do an about?
Yes, about even. What do we got?
Yeah, I'll quickly up because my eyes decided to stop tearing up. Could have been over the latter results, to be honest.
Quite possibly.
Oh, no.
Quite possibly. So, Guru Grizzlies, you're in at 2nd.
Bang.
Oh,
It is
I think
this
I was ahead last
Warren,
week.
this Warren figure that is leading the way with 15,605 points overall, which is pretty impressive.
Warren Smith.
And then the divider between you two. So Timmy, you're at 4th. It's Cody. Cody's between you guys.
Did I
Cody
lose last
Totes.
week then?
Yeah.
I
And
think I got dusted.
yes, I
'Cause
think so.
I think I was ahead of you, Roo.
What,
Makes sense.
do you know what makes this even better? You two face each other this week in the head-to-heads. So the updates will be extra good next week.
Fuck yeah.
All right, I'm using 2 trades.
I love that. That's good. That's
That
good.
means that Guru is too.
Guru's had his arsey week. That's in the past. You're not getting 2 in, you're not getting 2 on the trot.
Fucking please. It's been an arsey 3 years, apparently.
Oh,
Lovely.
I look forward to that this week. Might have to have a little side bet that we put on social media. Work it out during the
Yeah,
week.
yeah, okay.
That'll be good. And how'd you go? Knocked over your brother, didn't you?
Oh, I sure did. Random stats guy, also known as my brother. That might be weird if you're new here, but
Have you heard this one?
yeah. I have.
people think we look like siblings. I definitely see it, but I beat him quite convincingly. What was the score? Just double checking. Yep. So 1,098 to 721. So Rando didn't have his best week, I don't think.
Cop that, Randa.
Bad luck, Rando.
Love to see it. All right. Will we do Teamless Tuesday, Timbo?
Let's do it.
All right. Thursday, we've got the Sharks and the Dolphins. The Aquatic Cup at 7:50 p.m. from Shark Park for the Sharkies. Nico Hines back in, Atkinson out. For the Dolphins, Hammer at fullback, Felice at prop, just being named properly for the first time in a few weeks. Anything to touch on there, Timbo? Sivitalico holds on to his spot as well. No Teague Wilton yet.
Felice at prop named properly. I mean that one, mate.
Yeah, you like that one?
You didn't mean that.
I didn't, no. But we'll take it.
No.
No. Friday night, we've got the Raiders and the Cowboys, 6 p.m. down there at GIO Stadium for the Raiders, pretty much as expected. Can I ask you, what is doing with Corey Horsburgh? Is he around, alive?
I
What's he
think
doing?
he's playing New South Wales Cup this week.
Okay,
I think he
makes
was very
sense.
close to playing Cup last week. So
Yeah.
this will be his first game back. So big watch on him around probably Joe Tarpany owners, I think.
Yes.
Sorry, interested investors.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, very interesting one to watch. For the Cows, all the Origin players are back. Reece Robson, probably the biggest in there for the Cows. Worth noting if you're like me and you've held Finay Fuiaki all this time, back to his bench role. Did a job for, I was going to say us, but you never had him, did you?
I never bought him, no.
Yeah, never brought him. Yeah. 57 on the weekend, we'll take that.
Because it was looking diabolical for a while, wasn't it?
Oh, it sure was, yeah.
And then, to be fair, you would have held with Origin and that, and he went 76, 57 in 80 minutes. So it's an interesting one, isn't he? Because he'll off the bench this week, neg 3 break even, misses the next 2 major buy rounds. So you probably get his pay right, cut cash rise this week, then cut ties.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Mid
that'll be the
400s.
play. Yeah. Rabbitohs Broncos, 8 p.m. from Accor Stadium for the Bunnies. Cam Murray named on the bench. Great to see for the Bronx. Corey Oates has been named. He is under an injury cloud, though. And Xavier Willison, he returns on the bench after giving birth to a child. I think it was his wife, though, Timmy.
We'll confirm that later
We'll
on.
confirm that. Don't buy into the hype. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll
Did
find out
Did
for
you reach
sure.
out to NRL Physio to confirm?
I might have to reach out to the
Yeah.
Fizz. Yeah. Big overish guy. All right. Saturday, 3 p.m. We have got the West Tigers and the Titans from Leichhardt Oval.
The
Fuck.
Tigs and the Tits.
The Tigs and the Tits. Battle of the ages, Timbo. This is Origin football.
Yeah. This is one of those get your brownie points with the miso kind of games. Take it
Yeah,
out for lunch.
this is go out for heaps of early dinners.
Yeah.
Do anything else.
Yeah.
Tough gig. Speaking of Leichhardt Oval, we'll be there next Thursday night for the CBA Bowl. So if you would like to come out there, I think we'll have a code for you to get some cheaper tickets. So myself, I'll be there. Kat will be there. You going to come out?
TBC.
TBC. I think Matty the Waterboy is going to be there. Hamiso is going to come along. So it'll be a good night out there for the 2024 CBA Bowl. For the Tigers in this game, Aiden Caesar back in the half, Appy in the halves. Fuck! Don't love that. De Silva at 9. Fate Ape on the bench. Adam Dewey on the extended bench as well.
I'll get to Coruscant in my stat deep dive brought to you by Rando. Lockie Galvin, though.
Yeah.
It's big because he's owned by the masses. 551k, break even 64, out with this. It was a broken finger or hand or something.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Let's get to Galvin in trades.
Okay.
If you're okay with that. Because
I'm all right with it.
he's a talking point for me.
Yeah.
Big old talking point.
He's second most traded out player, or might even be the most traded, so.
Yeah. Warriors Storm 5. Oh, was there anything in that game you want to talk about, mate? Titans, no real changes there. They're 1-17 essentially.
We'll talk about one because I did have a question on the live potty on YouTube last night, and it was around Jaden Campbell, and I went,
Yeah.
like, I'm not keen on him, but I do see the merit. Like, dual 5'8" fullback, 458k, 75 points last week playing in the halves. The big factor is he plays the two major buy-outs, round 16 and 19.
Yeah.
What I can't trust is his injury history. He cannot take a trick, the little fella.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, not for me. I've never been as big on Jaden Campbell as a Supercoach player as others, as you know. Like, even in the preseason when everyone was fucking losing their mind over him, I wasn't huge on him. I mean, you even have a look so far this year, 80-minute games, 48 and 53. Not bad, but I don't know. And I don't like him at 5'8". If I want him,
I don't like him at 5'8" either. Like it's interesting because he's had his best go at 5'8", but I just want him at fullback.
Yeah, I
mean, I don't want him anyway,
pass.
but yeah.
Yeah, and even those buy round clashes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not vibing with him, but it could be a good play to look back on for sure.
Not for me.
Let's go to the Warriors and the Storm, 5:30 p.m. from Go Media Stadium. For the Wars, SJ returns at 7. CHT goes back to the bench. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the extended. I don't think we'll see him this week. I think it will be next week for Roger of the Dodger. Melbourne Storm, Remus Smith out. But very clean, Timmy, after he got a bath from Dane Gagai last week. Hold the shower.
Yes. Was it a head knock?
I don't know. I think he got injured. I could be wrong though, but he didn't finish that game. Irema comes in at centre.
The big one in this is it's just for Fire-Longo owners. No Pappenhausen still.
Yep.
Sounds like a decent chance to return next week. Whether that is straight at fullback, I would assume so, but we'll see. But still no Will Warbrick. There's again need to confirm. Remus. Yeah, it was a head knock last week.
Head knock.
But just the fact that Fire-Longo, hopefully get a bit more cash out of him. But most importantly, next week, hoping if he doesn't lob at fullback, at least on the wing or something for the buy round.
I reckon with those injuries, he's a good sniff too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Eels Roosters, 7:35 from Combank Stadium. For the Parramatta Eels, Micah Sivo returns a late scratching last week. For the Roosters, Pauga at centre replacing Suali'i. Connor Watson at 9, Sandon Smith on the bench. No cheese this week. Interesting to see how that situation plays out. Anything in those two games, Bud? Buddy old pal, old friendo.
No, other than Connor Watson and Connor Watson, was on a tear before getting injured with that throat injury, which it sounds like I've got right now. I couldn't go near him this week because I think he's a huge sniff for the Blues.
Yeah, Connor Watson's getting very different throat injuries to you, mate. I'll tell you that much for free right now, okay?
Oh,
That's just such a weird comment.
I don't even know what to make it. I can't even comprehend what,
I don't know what angle to look
is
at
it
that
a
from.
sick joke? Is it?
Yeah.
I'll let you decide.
That makes it even worse. Eh?
Oh, moving on.
You're going to be driving home and go,
Oh.
get it now. All right, Sunday afternoon, Seagulls v Dragons, 2 p.m. at 4 Pines Park. For the Manly Seagulls, Aloye out for tripping someone 50 metres off the ball. Bizarre. Nathan Brown, he starts. Ethan Bullimore comes onto the bench. For the Dragons, Lucian Leilua. Not sure if he started last week or not, but confirmed to start this week. We've got a question about him in the late show, so we'll get to that then, but he's going good, the Luch.
Yeah, he came off. I don't know if he started either, but he didn't play the full minutes. But if you can get back,
I think he came off the bench.
If you can get back to an 80-minute man, like there's always been such good SuperCoach prospect in there.
Yeah, for sure. Knights v Penny Panthers, 4:05 p.m. McDonald Jones Stadium. For the Knights, Fletcher Sharp remains at fullback. Bradman Best returns at left centre. Armstrong on the extended. Mate, I haven't really spoken to you about it since. What about this Armstrong situation? What a week.
So weird.
Going to the Lee Leopards.
Imagine being on the, up the pointy end of the Dally M leaderboard after 4 or 5 NRL games and going, no, I'm going to go sign with the Lee Leopards.
Fucking bizarre.
The man knows what he wants.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. To the Lee Leopards' credit, and I don't follow the Super League that well, but when they changed from the Centurions to the Leopards and they came out with the leopard print jersey, I thought, what a fucking train wreck. They've done incredibly well.
Challenge Cup final.
Adrian Lamb doing good things over there. My boy Matty Moylan, Lockie Lamb, a Clovelly crocodile.
Is he a crop?
He's a crop. Coached by Adrian Lamb at the Crocs too.
Really?
Yeah, from the Crocodiles of Clovelly to the Leopards of Lee.
Cam Murray, Clay Valley crop?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, if you go and ask people around South Sydney if Cam Murray is a Clovelly crocodile, you'll get the living shit
Roosters?
beat out of you. That's you know who the lock forward was in that team for the Crocodiles? Victor Radley. It's Roosters through and through. So you used to get Clovelly versus Mascot Jets, and the two locks would be Cam Murray and Victor Radley.
Mascot, right.
He's a mascot
I'm not
boy.
local, mate. Apologies.
Mass Compton.
Oh, yuck. Dude, I hope there's no one watching this on YouTube. I hope it's all through podcast. Mate, but it is a big one with Armstrong. I sold him last week.
Yeah, so did I.
And look, because he doesn't play round 16 anyway, you have to wait to round 19, which Kalen Pong was also due back around that time just to add into it. I think you probably, provided he doesn't get named this week, I think you just cut ties, don't you?
Shout out to Fletcher Sharp too, who's the Ryan Pappenhausen we have at home, which I'm a huge fan of. Great player. Panthers, Edwards fullback, Liam Martin on the extended bench. Nothing else to really touch on there with the Panthers.
No.
Anything? I thought you were going to say something. Got me on the edge of my seat.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Okay, good. I'll sit back in my seat then. Okay, Blue Wealth Property. Now, we had Sam and Hannah in the studio last week, and Sam and Hannah actually have brought a property via Blue Wealth Property via Beers and Breakevens. And I actually didn't realise until I sort of sat down and spoke with them, Timmy, I was like, fuck, it is one hell of a jump to go from listening to us two Pelicans talking SuperCoach to buying a property. And it sort of hit me at that moment that it is a big moment. I imagine there would be a lot of people sitting at home that are probably sitting on the fence, not quite sure how to go about it, what's the process and all that. So Sam and Hannah came in the other day and spoke to us. They were in here for about an hour or so. And we caught up with Tony from Blue Wealth Property and Mort's as well with Sam and Hannah. And we're just going to chuck in a little 2-minute clip now for you guys to listen to. I think it's Hannah talking.
Yeah.
About her experiences. And, you know, I sort of thought to myself, oh, here we go. Like Sam, who's a big SuperCoach player, he's gone to his missus and said, oh, I like this show. We should do this, blah, blah, blah. And she's probably going, oh, I don't know about it, blah, blah, blah. Sam actually went to Hannah and was like, I think this is worth looking at. He was then away or something. Hannah took herself to the Blue Wealth Property event and was convinced from walking in there. So it wasn't like a rugby league SuperCoach fan who had been mesmerised.
No, it's actually
By the guru's charm.
it was really, really impressive.
It's really
actually,
impressive, yeah.
Also, Sam had to convince Hannah, but then it was the webinar that convinced Hannah that it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I think Blue Wealth answered all her questions and she felt confident to go ahead with it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a little 2-minute clip in here now of Hannah explaining her experiences and whatnot, and then we're going to come back to the show. And then at the end of the show, we're going to put the full oh my God, I'm having a stroke over here. We're going to put the full 20-minute interview at the end of the show. So if you are someone that is interested or you're sitting on the fence about whether to, you know, jump into the Blue Wealth Property pool, you can watch that at the end. If it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's completely fine. But I know there'll be a lot of people out there that would be sitting on the fence, Timber.
Yeah, some real good gear. I checked this one out, and you're right. It'll, I think it might sway people, and at the very least, get a few people interested to start the conversation with Tony and the team at Blue Wealth, and yeah, ask a few questions.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go. Take it away, Hannah.
I attended via Zoom, so it made it really convenient. I did it from home, which was awesome. It was a Tuesday night, I remember so clearly, and I just didn't have any concept of what rent vesting was or what opportunities could come with it. And when I went to the seminar, they clearly broke down what it was, how it worked, the benefits to it. They really, really went through everything and broke down every aspect of it, as well as talking about how Blue Wealth support you through the process. So it was a real comprehensive overview of what the process looks like. I left there with pretty much no questions, which was very promising. And then Sam and I had a conversation that night, and we were both on board and ready to have a meeting, and it happened pretty quick from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So not only did you attend this event, having been introduced through a SuperCoach podcast, but you watched the event probably in your pajamas at home.
Yeah.
So this is getting cooler and cooler. So when you said they explain, I mean, what were the sort of one or two key things you learned that you reckon the listeners would benefit from?
So my biggest thing when it came to properties, I was pretty naive. And I always just viewed it the traditional, you buy somewhere to live and that's that kind of thing, which I think is really common for people who don't know much about property. So it really, really gave me a new perspective of how you can make property more of a business venture than a personal purchase, and then build that portfolio, which has really driven us to take a different perspective to property. And I think that was probably the biggest aspect. I was looking at it very personally, and one day we might get a home to live in. But at this stage, I think changing that perspective and getting educated that there's other ways of getting into the market was massive for us. And even just the idea of going interstate and the idea that there's areas that are still developing, and Blue Wealth explicitly explains the areas and they provide you with a portfolio on these areas. And when we went through the process itself after the seminar, we got given options as well. So it wasn't like we got, you must buy, not must, but you have this option and that's it. We got given different states, different developments. We got given apartment options or townhouse options. So it felt like we were still making that big choice for ourselves, but we were really supported.
Shout out to Hannah. Great gear there. As I said, guys, we're going to have it the full entire episode. Tony, myself, talking with Hannah and Sam at the back end of the episode. So if it is something that interests you, please stick around at the end and have a listen or a watch there. Fantastic stuff. Guys, Blue Wealth Property have got many events coming up over the next couple of weeks. The 18th of June, which is next Tuesday, we've got Wealth Through Property, which is via webinar. 7 p.m. online. Learn everything you need to know about building wealth through property and how Blue Wealth use a research process to identify the best investments for your financial future. Get all the info you need to create your wealth through property. The link will be in the description. We've also got Tuesday, the 25th of June, how to pay off your mortgage with an investment property. That one's also via webinar. The Achilles heel of Hannah. Got another one. 7 p.m. online. Got debt to pay off. Get debt to pay off debt. Sounds wrong, but tune in to learn how purchasing an investment property is the most effective way to pay off your mortgage. All those links are in the description below to check out Blue Wealth Property, and hang around at the end. We'll have the full episode with Hannah, Sam, Tony, and myself. All right. Tim, your stats deep dive. Take it away. We've got Ewan Aitken.
His bloke who's been in this a few times this season, Ewan Aitken. He just keeps delivering. And also, as I said, very minimal prep time this week off the back of Bloke Podcast, et cetera. These stats brought to you by Random Stats Guy.
Yeah.
Ewan Aitken.
Great fella, shit punter.
Great fella, shit punter.
Yeah.
Good stat man.
Great. The greatest
The
stat man in Alexandria this morning.
Yeah. Ewan Aitken, 7.5% ownership in the top 10% ranked overall super coaches. He hasn't scored under 50 this season. He's averaging 74 points in his last 5 night games with a minimum score of 60 in those night games.
Got a bit of Batman about him.
He does. And he's basing 55 this season. His last 2 games, he's based 61 in 88 minutes. That was extra time against the Raiders. And 68 in base the game before. He's dual position. He doesn't have he's got one more bye left this season, which is round 18, which is a full round, so easily coverable. Mate, what more do people have to do before they take him seriously?
Holy.
Yeah, I
Last
know.
few scores, 84, 60, 83, 63, 74, 89. 1 try in that.
Yeah.
Fuck a duck.
Huge
Having a
stats,
season, Ewan.
Yeah. I think what's put me off in the past has been another one who can find just a short-term injury. Been a bit better in recent years, but can get these little soft tissue ones. But he's just stringing games together, playing great footy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like back in the day, but it does feel like a while since stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't reckon that'd be holding me back.
Such a good buy.
What has he got to buy round 18? So he's playing 16 and 19.
I know.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think his job security is pretty good. I think Kenny Bromwich.
Well, that was the other thing that's probably kept us off in earlier on this
past, yeah.
season because it's like there was Lemuelu, there was Kenny Bromwich, they had a toss and turn a few different options, but he's all but locked that spot in.
Well, mate, I remember at the start of the draft season, friend of the show, Stevie Hebner, drafted him, and I remember before the preseason going, "Fuck, he's not going to be in the 17. There's every chance he misses this."
Yeah.
Thinking, "Fuck, that's a bedshit of a pickup," but mate, he is absolutely flying. Those numbers are incredible.
Yeah.
That is unreal. Absolutely love to see it, mate. Our next guy, thirsty or what?
Yeah. Always thirsty. Scotty Drinkwater.
Scotty Drinkwater.
Bloke.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Is the jinx at risk of dying out in the next generation, do we think? I personally think it is.
I think it's in all sorts of
I
trouble.
think it's in serious curry. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think anyone under the age of 30 says jinx anymore.
I'll be honest, not a huge lot of society.
I think it's got its place.
Maybe leave it in the comments. Do
Yeah,
you say
let us
jinx?
know.
And how old are you?
Will you pass jinx on to your children and your children's children's?
Rando, going hard on the night games. But, so one of the more sold plays this week, it did surprise me when I first saw it, but as I'm sort of gradually doing my research for round 15, I do get it because Drinky misses, I think, 2 of his next 4 games, doesn't play any of the major buy-outs either, misses round 16 and 19, so I understand it. In the words of Rando, this week is a nightmare clash, a night game in Canberra. The highest score this year from a fullback in a night game in Canberra, so 6 games, sorry. So it must have been last year as well. In the last 6 games, 4 fullbacks have failed to crack 50 points. So there's that, but also I want to talk about Scotty Drinkbloke. Do you still own? Yeah, you captained him last week.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So with that draw missing round 16 and 19, doesn't offer any buy coverage. He's got Penrith after round 16 to round 17. It's on a Sunday, so Penrith may or may not rest players. I don't know. I want to hold him, but the appeal of a Tedesco or a Latrell Origin pending, you can see it. What are you thinking?
This draw is rank.
Yep.
If he goes poorly against the Raiders, he then goes by Penrith, Manly, by Bulldogs. You got 2 of the 3 best defensive sides in the competition there.
Keeping in mind the Cowboys are not overly good.
Then they play the Sharks. Yeah,
And they keep going on the run home. Goes Tigers, sweet.
you get the Tigers, but
Broncos, Raiders, by Melbourne Bulldogs.
yeah. My SuperCoach draft life is flashing before my eyes. Don't love this. Maybe there's a play here. This might change my plans a little bit. Lockie Galvin might live to see another day because that boy was about to get nuffed.
Oh,
Mate, yeah, maybe. Fuck.
yeah. I'm warming to the trade out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to trade shortly.
I don't want to talk about anything else now, but I will for you because I'm here for you.
Who we got?
Appy Curacao of halfback fame. Talk to me because I'm nervous.
Yeah, so I'm very glad. I was going to do the crunch the numbers and go back and find his halfback games, but thankfully Rando has done it for me. Named at halfback this week. 2 games there last season, scores of 66 and 79.
Yeah.
reassuring. That was in I'm going to say slightly worse Tigers outfit. They also have injuries now.
Fuck, are they slightly worse with the guys they've got out? I
Now
don't know.
with blokes out now, no, they're probably the
Probably
same.
not. Yeah.
Good scores though, so like
Yeah.
it's not because Appy's one that I wouldn't do it this week, but I'm somewhat tempted to get him next week because he plays round 16 and 19. He's cheap. I was happy to carry Brayley through the Origin period, and I still probably will. But like if he does, he's been named to start Brayley this week, but if he gets benched again, it's like less than ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
So, yeah, I wouldn't rush to him, but he's bounced back to Supercoach form. Of course, goal kicking. Halfback now, good to have a look at that, but how do you feel as Nona?
Not great, but I mean, like, I just think a lot of things I'm confident he scores points. I don't love it, but it's not bad enough for me to trade him out or anything. So
No.
I mean, it is what it fucking is. My depth is pretty good this week. So whether he makes my 17 or not, maybe. Who are they playing again?
Tigers?
Titans.
Yeah, Titans.
Oh, no, I'll take a punt there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That helps,
Yeah.
actually. Actually, I feel fine now. I know he's
Yeah.
playing the Titans. Shout out to the GC. Okay. You've eased me a little bit there. Oh, fuck, here we go. Brian Kelly, talk to me.
That's Albert Kelly.
Oh, one of the greatest quotes in rugby league history. I won't repeat it here, but
Brian Kelly.
one of my favourite videos
Yeah.
ever. Yeah, the one I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
The one of him at Macca's over in the Super League?
I'm assuming it's not for publication
It's
on air.
not for publication at all.
We'll talk
but-
later.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly. He comes up as a Super Pod chat all the time. I've never owned him, and I just feel like I'll never own him unless he would have moved to like a better footy team.
I think Heavenly Hands Hebner brought him in last
Did
week.
he?
Went real pottish. Yeah.
It never works out. Whenever he becomes relevant,
Yeah.
it never works out.
Yeah.
However, he's always a super pod option. 60 plus points in 8 of his last 9 games. 0.9% ownership. Break even 76. As I said, plays around 16 and 19. Again, he's another one who just seems to find a lot of injuries. They're never major, but just little ones. Misses a lot of games through little injuries. But he's put together, he's played every game this season for the Titans. They've only got one bye to go, round 17. Tigers this week, great matchup into the Warriors. They go Sharks, Panthers, Manly. So draws, not the best, not the worst. I just can't bring myself to get him in, but he's scoring well.
It just doesn't feel right.
No.
I shout out to those people that do it outside of Steve. Fuck you. But not for me. Wouldn't be the play.
Like, you look at his scores all the way back since round 5. They've been outstanding. But now that he's become relevant with that draw, just however the Super Gods weave their magic, as people buy him now, it just won't work out. It never does.
Never does. Yeah.
But
we'll see.
the
Hope it
numbers-
does.
Like, he's basing 32 as well. The numbers are great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Talk to me about White at the Sydney Roosters, mate. He was a big talking point. Round 13 bye round. Still seems to be doing the damn thing.
Yeah, I got a message last night from my good mate Maxie Bride, and he said White, Nuffing White at the Roosters named at lock to start again. No Brandon Smith this week. A bit of uncertainty around that one. Connor Watson back, of course, at hooker, but just a general chat about his numbers. 410K, break even of 10, plays the second major bye round. In his first game starting lock, 73 points in 67 minutes. Now, we don't expect him to play that many each week, but in that round 13, 53 points in 56 minutes. Those two games were 51 and 53 in base. Dual 2RF front row forward. The question is, how many minutes does he get moving forward, do we think?
Yeah, in a full strength side, I've got no idea, especially if Brandon Smith comes back in next week, which you probably assume he will, right?
You'd think so. The thing is, like where I think Terrell May continues to boom throughout the Origin period, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton, big minute Origin players, I just think Trent Robinson's already shown that with White and with Terrell May, he'll use these blokes bigger minutes during this period because they're not Origin impacted and just get more out of them. So, like, it doesn't have to be a long-term play. It can be till sort of round 20-odd, earn you another 150K, potentially score well. I'm not going to do it, but the numbers are good.
What is he, break even 10? Yeah, okay. I'm very confident round 16 against the Bulldogs. He plays big minutes. That'll probably be a tight game. I reckon he scores another 60, 70 there.
Yeah.
Have you got him, Kathmandu? You brought him, didn't you? White?
Yeah, I've got him.
Yeah, I think it's been a good little buy for you, especially when you brought him in round 12. That's been nice. Okay. Anyone else you want to touch on there, mate?
No.
Nuffs. Is it too early to nuff? My opinion in round 1 is no. My opinion remains now no. I was seriously considering making a nuff play this week to join Viliami Fafita and Simi Sasagi sitting on my extended. Tim's just had a little episode over there. I love this conversation. Rando's now maybe, I refuse to say it to you, Rando's now maybe convinced me that moving off Scotty Drinkbloat might be the easier play and it'll save me a trade too. So
Hey, Rando's stats were only for the Canberra fullbacks tonight game. The rest of it was this guy.
fucking please.
So I've gotten you off it.
Please. It's solely about this week's game.
You're welcome again.
I'm probably leaning away from enough, but I will be making nuffs towards the back end of the season. This is how I play to sort of stack my side.
Explain enough, mate, please.
So enough is a player that you bring into your side that you know is not going to be playing, so that you can free up cash to spend it elsewhere. That's what I see as enough.
Yeah. And just the other addition to that is you try and get someone who is a dual position player just to allow flexibility in your squad, make moves, those sorts of things. Generally like maybe a 2RF front row forward or a 2RF CT dub. And generally this discussion comes a little bit later on in the buy period. The fact that you've brought it up now, I was like, mate, and you've already got two of them in your team.
Yeah. I am more than happy to do it now. I think you overplay the worry about it. But it's different approaches.
If you had 25 active players or even 24 and a few more trades up the sleeve, I'd be like, I don't like it still, but I understand it. Who'd you say you had? Viliami Fafita. I have more chance at playing a game of NRL than he is this season.
Yeah, I got Fafita in my 2RF front row forward. I've had him since the start of the year, I think, and front row forward's been fucking shit house. So
Gang. Anyone who kept him.
Are you in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, my girl. See?
Fafita.
Yeah, we're riding high.
And who's your other one?
He's the real Fafita. He's the alpha Fafita.
Who's your
Fucking
other one?
Jojo and David can fuck off. It's all about Viliami. My guy.
VV.
And my other one
VV.
is Simi Sasagi, who has been a little bit more frustrating. I mean, he's at 324k now, so I'll probably trade him to someone at some point.
Yeah, so if you were to use two trades this week and you'd go down to 17 and you'd have 22 out of 25 active players with injuries to come, more trades to come leading into 19, 20, I would just love nothing more for you to do it. I really wouldn't. But I do not. I think this year, and I've said it a few times, but I feel like the vast majority of super coaches, certainly all the ones that I know and the ones that I've seen around social media, are going well harder on trades than other years. I think injuries have been bonkers this year. I think everyone that sold Nico are going to need to get him back in, Cleary back in. We know there's going to be movement at fullback, as there always is later on in the season. Getting people back in. Oh, no.
Just quietly, obviously the points have been good, but the Tyrant Wishart play for us to allow us to go to Nathan Cleary in a few weeks
my goodness.
is absolute gold.
I know.
Absolute gold.
501k, negative 16 break even. Is it? Yeah. So what, projected score of 55 this week. He'll do that by 20 minutes into the game. T-Wish. 50, that'll be 60k price change, same to 560 with that massive score and his rolling average, like him to Cleary by end of buy period.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the nuff that I was looking at this week was going Galvin down to the great and powerful Paul Turner, who's 5'8/CTW, and I can't see his name anywhere in the NRL. I assume he must be injured. So that's the player I was looking at, 219k, free up, 350k to be able to spend elsewhere.
Talk to us about the it sounds like you're not doing it now because you've listened to my advice, but Lockie Galvin sell. Talking point.
Is the injury just a 1 week thing? Do we know?
It's weird because there's so much else going on.
Yes.
But let me have a look. But it sounded like probably only a week, but not confirmed.
I think Galvin has done a fantastic job, and there was a couple of weeks ago where I was happy to use him as a player each week. I'm losing a little bit of that confidence the longer this shit fight goes on with the Tigers. I know he's still had good scores recently. I mean, 28 on the weekend before that, 90, 79, 54. I just feel like 550K is a good bit of do-re me to move off Galvin.
NRL Physio says Galvin won't play round 15 at least to give his hand injury time to heal. Had required heavy strapping and painkilling injections over last month to play. The thing is, they've also got, again, they're not going to rush a young bloke like Galvin back, especially with everything going on in the background. But Sullivan's out. Latu Fainu's still out.
Yeah.
So they've got Caesar. They've had to move their number 9 to the halves. So they kind of do need him in there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know. And for what I like to do is to Nuff guys, it's 300K that I could spend on getting a gun somewhere else that I'm very confident playing week in, week out.
Yeah. I want to hold, like, he's got a 3-round average of 65. That's with a 28 from last round. So he's averaging for the season 57 points, plays around 16 and 19.
Yeah, playing 16 and 19 changes things, doesn't it?
Oh, that's
I
the
didn't
only
realise
reason.
that.
Yeah, if he wasn't, especially 19, like round 16, I don't really care, but it's still a key number, like a 57 averaging player.
Yeah.
But 19 is an invaluable number if he plays that. So
Yeah. Now I've got 16 and 19. Now I can probably see myself as one of my boost trades after 19 for sure.
Kat, can we have like a counter in the corner of the screen every episode that just ticks every time Guru changes his mind when I say something?
You know what? The funny thing is you can actually see the moment that he decides to go ahead with it on his face.
Hey, you're the SuperCoach expert, mate. I'm just a humble draft guy, just having a go, just trying to compete in the big bad world out here.
Mate, my rank suggests otherwise.
No comment.
Don't talk yourself down like that.
Thanks, Kat.
So I don't have a problem with people going with Nuffs. It is a little bit riskier. I get that 100%. But I think safety Sam over there is a little bit too fucking safety. So take a risk. You miss all the shots you don't take kind of stuff. Trades. What are you thinking of doing, mate? Before you backflip 4 times this week.
Oh, this is going to sound really lame after that safety Sam call. I'm thinking of sitting on my hands and doing nothing.
Okay. Once those hands get busy later in the week like they always do, what's a hypothetical trade you could be looking at?
So for context, firstly, I've got about 16 players for next week. So I'm like, and it's a pretty strong, it'll be 13 players next week on the major buy round. So I'm like, I don't really need to strengthen it for that round. This week, my team's quite strong as it stands. So I don't massively need to. What I'm eyeing off the fullback slot. So I've got Scott Drinkwater and Ruben Garrick there. Garrick, who I intend to move back to CT Dub.
Oh, have you got him at fullback at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
So I want like a Latrell or a Tedesco. Latrell's break-even's 40. I think is a huge chance of playing Origin, in which case he misses round 16, 17 and 19. And there's all these people hooting and hollering about owning Latrell. He's the most traded-in player this week. If he gets picked for Origin, he misses 3 or 4 games. Like, he's a borderline sell at that price.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would I rush on that? Teddy's break-even's 43 as well at 824K. So I think what I want to do, there's also probably going to be a surprise Origin call-up or injuries that happen between now and next week, suspensions, who knows? And that team will get a little bit weaker. So I'm thinking if I can use no trades this week, I can have a look at that fullback spot and Origin selections and then get in either of Teddy or Latrell next week. Latrell's also playing the Broncos this week. Like, it's a tough matchup. So I'm leaning towards none. Like, I could sell Drinkwater, but again, I think that's more of probably a trade for next week to Latrell and or Teddy. Outside of that, there's nothing that overly entices me. If we got word that Lockie Galvin was going to miss multiple weeks, I could look at going Galvin to like a Jerome Hughes or a Cody Walker.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing as it stands that appeals to me that much.
Yeah, fair shout. I think that even when you brought in Garrick the other day, I've never been overly high on him. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. It's a good trade in, but I don't think it's going to ruin me. And then I watched him score 93 against Penrith and fucking couldn't have hit the side of a barn with a goal kick. So I was just like, I think I probably need to just get Garrick. He's a keeper. Lock him in for the rest of the season. So I am now thinking...
Kat, can you just update that counter for us, please?
Yeah. I've just updated it.
Add a third trophy to my name. I'm thinking drink water straight to Garrick instead of making 2 trades. That'll leave me with 18 trades. And then I think, mate, if everything goes to plan the week after, I don't think I'd make trades in round 16.
Yeah, and I think, mate, I reckon that's a bit of advice to note just for any super coaches out there who are relatively well placed next week. Save some trades either this week or next week.
Yeah.
We get a maximum of 5 available between this week and next week. I think you want to be saving at least 2 of those.
Could I? Manly's got Dragons. Shit, no, I probably need to get Garrick this week. Okay. So that'll mean for round 16, mate, I have got 15, but that's including Galvin and Latrell. So I need both of those to get through. Is that including Simi Sasagi? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got 15 including Simi Sasagi. So who probably gets onto the bench for the Raiders next week? If
It
Hutto's...
depends on Hudson if he gets picked for the Blues.
Oh, yeah, he might not. Yeah, fuck. Okay. So I need either Galvin to play or Latrell to miss Origin.
Can't have that.
What do you mean?
Trell's got to.
Oh,
we need
please.
Trell out there.
Yeah.
Big one, that really big one for Supercoach purposes because, as I said, people are trading him in this week. Most traded in. People jumping in last week. The decision then becomes next week: do you hold or sell Latrell, missing 3 or 4 games?
Yeah.
It's big implications.
Huge implications.
As I said, like if he doesn't make Origin, I'll find a way for him next week.
You will, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's big. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Kat, what are you thinking trades-wise this week you've had a look at?
Not really. I've just been taking it all in. I have Garrick. Just wanted to.
You've already got Garrick?
Just wanted to shout out what a great addition he is to the team.
Have you had him for a while?
I've had him, for quite a few weeks now. Love Ruben Garrick. Flies under the radar, I feel, but really deserves the hype that he's getting today. And look, I've got Latrell too, so I'm going to have to consider my options next week with whatever happens with him. And
have you got Hines still?
I do still have Hines, and I also have Galvin. So there's a few things there that I need to consider.
Do you have Chance still?
No. I sold Chance, and I've got Hamiso.
What's the biggest problem? Oh, you got Hamiso?
Yeah.
Wild card. What's the biggest problem you got on your side right now, do you think?
Biggest problem I've got in my side. I mean, how long's Josh Curran going to be out?
No, apparently he's...
Or is he all right?
It was just a Cat 1 head knock, so he should be back for round 16.
Yeah, so that's okay.
Brilliant. Well, then I think my biggest issue is whatever happens with Galvin and Trell.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Good to see. Sit V starts this week. Timbo, you got many decisions you have to make, mate?
Got a few, yeah. It's relevant again, just for this week.
Yeah, talk to me.
So I'm sitting this week, Jaden Brayley. We've got a few doggies front rows there. Sitting Morgan Smithies, Sean Lane, Lockie Galvin obviously is out. My only major decision, so I've got a very strong 16.
Yeah.
My 17th man is choosing between Dallin, Wateni Zalesniak and Ben Trebojevic, both who are back with a vengeance in recent weeks. Dallin, after being a bit of a laughing stock to my Supercoach team for about a 6-week period, he's bounced back with 2 very good scores. So he's starting to put it this way.
Yeah.
When he did look like bottoming out and everyone sold, and I was like, if the Warriors show a bit of ticker and come good, I've got 2 good scores out of him and people are buying him again. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, it was a tough few weeks for Dallin there. I think he would have gone to HR with some of the treatment of the in the locker room.
So he's
Would have been
gone.
tough.
What'd he go? Yeah, 74 last week for me. And then there was the game before at fullback where he scored 80. So he's on the way back up.
He was unlucky not to score more last week too.
Yeah, he always looks likely.
Yeah.
But that's wingers, isn't it? You have to get over or it's bust.
Yeah. But him in particular, like he always looks fucking likely in
He
that
does.
side. And as SJ and that they all return.
Who would you play, Dallin or Benny Trebojevic against the Dragons?
Who have the Warriors got? Melbourne. Oh, fuck. Burbo, mate. I don't know.
Burbo's injuries terrify me. They really do. He like
Yeah, if Burbo doesn't get attacking stats too, which against the Dragons he probably should, but
they use him with great shape. He's had a few try assists in that.
sometimes they do.
We refer to it so I'm not talking like a hard line running sort of thing. We always often refer to the shape for the Army kick out ran
Yes,
at the Pens.
yeah.
Now the Doggies where he sweeps out the back and gets the try assist. He got on against Penrith last week. He's getting a few of them.
Man, I had him in draft at the start of the year, and some games he looks like the best ball player in the fucking world. Then other times they just refuse to fucking use him. I'm a little bit
better recently. Do you still have him?
No. I'm not as confident on him as you are, but you've watched him closely.
If he can hold firm, and I'm leaning towards Dallin for the record.
Yeah.
Just like over in NZ, SJ back, Warriors playing well. But yeah, Benny, he's now made 200K, break even of 1, plays around 16 and 19. So if he can just stay fit, thank you.
Any other reserves you want to touch on?
No, they're the main ones, mate. Like Terrell May and Samuel Afino, my front row, back row speak for themselves. CT Dubs speak for themselves. I'm playing Fa'alongo. All good.
All right, so I have got one of Ruben Garrick or Latrell will be my first reserve. Then I've got to make a decision out of Marsu, Iro, Wishart, Smithies, Radley, Egan. I've got to essentially pick 3
What?
of those.
You have Marju?
Yeah, I brought him weeks ago. Yeah. It's been shit house.
She's been quiet on that one.
Well, he hasn't scored any points. He's barely taken a hit up. It's been dreadful.
You didn't tell me you did that.
Yeah, I did. I would have. Why the fuck wouldn't I have told you?
Because this is what I reckon happened. I reckon you made the decision again on your own whim after the show was recorded, and I reckon he hasn't scored over 30 since, and you haven't brought it up. I had no idea you had Marju.
Man, I rage a bit. I've spoken about him a few times. I play him every week. It fucking sucks. It's been dreadful. I came into this week thinking Marcy was going to get dropped. He's been all over the place.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's been fucking chaotic. He almost got traded this week. Had I done my Nuff play, he probably would have got traded.
He'll be another Nuff for you soon.
What's his? Yeah, he won't be far off. Little
490K. Scores of 3-round average of about 40. 38.
Yeah, it's been fucking dreadful.
There you go. You've had a Dallin moment too.
So he doesn't play round 16. He plays 19. So I'll probably hold him for that. And then I will be fucking Gregory off very quickly. Well, I'm hoping Bradman Best back this week helps.
But Pong will be back by the time you want to bugger him off where he becomes relevant again.
Oh, yeah, I'll probably hold him.
But I reckon he'll miss the bus in round 19.
Yeah. That's a lingering headache I have in my side, Gregory. So... Itero will play this week. A reserve, you reckon?
Sharkies,
Dolphins.
Thursday night Dolphins. Yeah, mate, I think you play him most weeks, Hero. He's just like...
He's just solid.
He's knocking out 50, 60 without any attack. I'd just lock him in.
Yep. So Itero will probably be one of them. Victor Radley will be one of them.
The other thing with Iro, they've got that Trindle and Hines combination back where... Don't get me wrong, he wasn't getting a ton of attack, but Mully Taylor was getting a lot more on that edge with that combo. So I think you'll see a lot more ball on their Hero.
Wade Egan, Smithies, Wishart, Marsu. Pick one all-star of that lineup.
Wade Egan, Marju. Who else?
Smithies and Wishy.
Oh, Wishy.
Against who they got? Warriors over there.
She's a gun.
Yeah.
What?
Who have the Knights got?
Panthers.
Penrith. I will not be picking Greg Mars.
I don't mind the Egan play otherwise, but
Egan
Wishy just scored 122.
Yeah.
His last 4 scores have been 122, 60, 40 and 85.
All right. We'll take Wishy.
Cat?
Yep. I don't know.
He had 42 base on the weekend for a 5'8".
Yeah, okay. Wishy it is. He's in.
Don't worry, the counter's there, Tim. The counter's there.
Okay, that's probably my lineup for this week then.
Skippers.
El Skipperoonies. Obviously got Nico on Thursday night, looking appealing if he plays.
Tempting, hey?
Very tempting.
Especially after what's sold.
Very tempting.
Let me have a look at his ownership, how many did sell.
Hey, if I tell you a secret, can you keep it between you and me?
Sure.
We fucking suck at picking captains.
Oh my God. How bad.
We're so shit.
You've done, so last week we had Drinky. The week before was Manu. Did you had Manu?
Yep.
He got 50.
Yep.
I can't get a captain to save myself.
No. I think I got Val Holmes like 140 or something in week 2. Since then, it's been shit all.
I go in so confident with my picks each week as well.
Every single week. I'm like, blindfold stuff, I'll be sweet.
Yeah.
This is the guy.
We missed Nico's
Never
big
is.
one early in the year that everyone had him.
Yep.
We went 150.
Yep. Correct. Sure did.
Even on
Hasn't
the
been
weekend, you had
ideal.
2 cracks at it. You had
Still
2
fucked
cracks
it.
at getting it right with half your team scoring tons and you still screwed it up.
Still fucked it up. It was incredible.
Nico, ownership. Oh my goodness, still scrolling. What do you reckon his ownership is amongst the top 10% overall is now?
I have no idea. Across the top 10, I don't
He
know.
what 2 weeks ago, he was like 98% or something.
40?
30.
Oh, wow.
People have massed. So that's why I talk about these trades and that. Everyone's gonna have to get him back in.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Me having Hines, Nikora, and Ramian is going to get me back into this motherfucking game, okay?
They've been marked.
Mark my words. Or
Until
don't if it
Nico
doesn't
gets
work
picked for
out.
Origin 2 and misses round 16,
Oh, I'll be
19,
so upset. I'll be so upset.
probably 17.
All right, Nico's an option on Thursday night,
Oh.
a serious option. If you're a Trell Mitt owner taking on the Broncos, do you consider it or not? He just scores well no matter who he plays, seemingly. The Broncos aren't going good.
They were really poor on the weekend. I think they'll be very fired up after that. I think, if nothing else, I think defensively,
Okay.
you know, with Walsh and Reynolds out, they lose a lot of attack, but I think the defence should lift for this game. I just look at the big picture, and I know the Broncos are battling a little bit and the Bunnies are resurgent somewhat. The Bunnies still are ordinary and the Broncos are still the Broncos. I'm like,
Yep.
just seems like a mismatch and a dangerous one. But it is Latrell playing for an Origin spot, so yes, you would consider it, but I would not do it.
Dave Fafita v. the West Tigers at Leichhardt Oval.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. And even like he's also playing for an Origin spot.
I fucking hate that Foz isn't on that edge.
I know that was awful last
That
weekend.
worries me, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. That's the only thing that alarms me about this.
It didn't help having Jaden there at all.
Didn't help in any way, shape, or form.
I still like the play.
Other options, Teddy Manu v Parramatta.
I think if you had Teddy, you'd probably do it. Manu, Rando had some stats last night about the Eels, that edge that Manu and Dom Young are going at, and they've just destroyed it.
Yeah, okay.
That Eels edge has been horrible all year, so they're serious options. I'm not going to do Manu because it just can't end well for me. Personally, we know that. But I think for others, yeah, it's tempting.
Could it be a bit of a Dom Young just let loose
Yeah.
on the wing, score a bunch of tries?
Absolutely, it could.
That's a bit exciting.
I
can't
haven't
do
captained Dom Young yet. I was going to do it that game against the Cowboys, and then I think it was quite wet. No, Joey went to fullback.
Yeah.
But I kind of want a Dom Young captain game at some point.
It's such a big play.
It's huge.
Such a big play.
I'm tempted.
I'll back you.
I'm tempted
Yeah.
just
Go for it.
because I'm the rook and I can, you know.
Because
you
you
can get away with it
Yeah.
if it fails.
Yeah, because my brand is being bad at this. So
Yeah.
We got the Manly Seagulls and the Dragons on Sunday.
can we also talk about it being the
I was
Jess
about to bring it
the
up.
Jess Surges Cup?
Lomax v Tommy Talau, the Jess Surges Cup.
Look out.
Look out. How good. That'll be great viewing.
Fantastic. Another 170 incoming for Lomax.
Yeah, it's the sort of game he'll be up for.
Yeah.
100%.
It'll actually be interesting to see how Talau responds to this.
Yeah.
How he plays.
Yeah, because fuck, Lomax is going to be so keen.
Oh, no. Terrifying.
Love that. But Ruben Garrick has grabbed my attention here, mate. New to the side, and I think it sends a message to the Grizzlies that I don't care who the fuck you are, what you've done for this team. I can bring a new guy in and he will lead. It's a real line in the sand moment for the Grizzlies here, potentially. I am seriously considering Fafita into Garrick.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I just don't like the idea of captaining a centre.
Yeah, it's rank.
Yeah,
It's rank.
I think he scores very well, and I think he scores 80 to 90 plus.
Yeah.
With the upside of 150 if they put a score on. The Dragons are so up and down, and yes, they've shown a bit more ticky this year, the Dragons, but I feel like they're a side, and I could be wrong in saying this, but they'll have a big win and they'll be like, sweet, we got our big win, we're all good, and they can just go back to being the Dragons we know and don't love so much.
I desperately love them.
Yeah.
They're great.
I just think I think there's a massive chance they don't turn up for this.
Okay.
So I think Garrett's a solid play. I won't do it, but I get it.
Mate, if you're a Dylan Edwards owner, Penrith v Newcastle.
I just think with the injury concern, probably not.
Probably not.
And I can't help but think the injury was enough for the Blues not to play him.
Yep.
He's now playing for his origin spot. Do they rush him back a little bit? It sounds very minor, don't get me wrong. And I'm confident he gets through the 80 minutes if he plays. But do Penrith rush him back to give him that chance to get the Blues jumper? It seems risky.
Yep.
The Knights also, they can turn up.
They
especially
can,
at home.
yeah. I reckon they will show up for this
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think they'll be
Beat
gritty.
the Panthers at home last year, I think or if not, beat them, was very tight.
It was very tight. Yeah. All right. Any other captain options that I didn't mention there, mate, that are jumping out to you?
No, pretty good there. Thanks, mate.
Hines, Fafita, Garrick. They're the three for me in my side.
Yeah,
that I'm gonna
Hines
be looking
VC
to.
into Fafita C for me, possibly. Probably at this point. I'm going to go back and do some research, and I'll do it before tomorrow's podcast on Nico Thursday night scores and see what he's got. Just because Thursday night scares me, just feels like a bit of a hoodoo game all around. But tempting to go the straight C on him, especially after seeing those ownership stats.
Thursday night, straight C. I'm not against it. I know a lot of people out there in the comments are weirdly against it. Really
They don't get a
rattles
VC
cages.
crack. It's like, okay.
How often do you use a VC?
I don't think I've VC'd this year.
Yeah. So
Looped.
I wish I did last weekend. But anywho.
Yeah,
Okay, beautiful. Catmandu. El Capitano.
Well, look, like I said, I'm tempted to have a bit of fun with it and maybe go a bit of a wild card in Dom Young, but I do have Fafita.
Yep.
So I think it could be a safer choice to run with him. So I might look at doing a little
I love the Dom Young
VC option.
VC Fafita, Dom Young captain.
Yeah,
done.
I think that would work based on schedule. But I just feel like Dom Young's kind of due a big game. A couple
Back
of
it in.
tries.
Yeah.
Back it up.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Roosters fresh off the bye. Like,
Yeah.
they could thump. Yeah.
And it's
give it to 'em,
Eels,
yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
they're so up and down at the moment. But the Roosters, I think they can do it.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anything else to touch on?
Pretty good.
Now, we've got the episode coming in now with Blue Wealth Property. We've got Sam and Hannah. It goes for about 20 minutes or so. Really good chat. If you are someone that is considering getting involved with Blue Wealth Property via Beers and Breakevens, sit back, have a listen to this, grab the missus, grab the husband, grab whoever the hell you're going to make this decision with, and just sit and watch this. And, you might come out and decide it's not for you. But I think for some of you sitting on the fence, this might nudge you in a direction. I wasn't even on the fence, but I actually might have jumped on the fence.
15
off the
odd
back of
minutes
this.
that could change your life.
It could change your life. I know it has changed Sam and Hannah's life. It was even a little bit emotional listening to them talk about how much it has changed their life. So really, really special stuff. We're going to play that now for you, and all the links for Blue Wealth Property are below in the description. Follow those along, and we can put you in touch with Blue Wealth Property to change. I am having an absolute shocker today. Mick
Big
Crocker
week.
You need a
over
bit
here.
of sleep,
Big
honestly.
week. It's Wednesday. So links are in the description, guys, to hook up with Blue Wealth Property and make a life-changing decision. We will see you on the Late Show later tonight. All right. We are here with some special members of the Beers and Breakevens community. We've got Sam and Hannah with us, who actually brought a property via Blue Wealth Property not too long ago. We thought we'd bring them in to go through their experiences today. And I guess my first question to both of you, who's the SuperCoach player?
It's me, but Hannah often will hear my trades and she'll have to approve them.
So she's like the Tim Williams, is she?
Essentially,
I'm
yeah.
in charge.
You're in charge. Now, how keen is he on his SuperCoach team? Spill the dirt for us.
We often have little discussions about how often we're on our phone looking at SuperCoach because we'll be out for dinner or we'll be walking around and babe, I just got to check SuperCoach real quick. I just got to check. So very keen.
My kind of guy. I back that. I respect that heaps. Now, who do we both go for? Which NRL teams are we going for?
I go for the Rabbitohs.
And I'm a Tigers battler. So not been a good year for either of us.
It's rare that you've had a better year, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Shocking.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a while.
I don't want to call it too early.
It's been a
but you've had a
while.
slightly better year.
Only just.
Now, mate, your Supercoach team this year, how are they actually tracking? Where are you sitting? How many trades you got left?
It's going well. I've barely saved a trade, but I'm just in the top 4K rank. And I've gone purely based on vibes this year, not trying to overthink it, trying to bring in who's going well and not overdo it. And it's gone well, but I'm in trouble this week.
Yeah, I think we're all in a little bit of curry this week and the bye round's coming up. Who's been your best play and your worst play off the top of your dome this year, your biggest mistake and your best call?
I've had a 3-strike policy with Dom Young. Had him pre-season and then he got injured. And then I got him in, he got the -15 and then I didn't have him for his 150. But I did start the year with Matty Burton and Jermaine Hopgood.
Oh, Matty Burton, well played. Well played in this room. We'll get to that very soon, but well played. Very well played. Now, guys, obviously via Beers and Breakevens, you've been part of this very special journey with Blue Wealth Property, buying your own property. Can you run us through, because I guess for some people at home that would be sitting on the fence whether they make this jump or not, it is a pretty big thing to go from sitting here listening to 2 absolute galahs, 3 now, talking Supercoach week in, week out, to buying property. It is pretty wild when you think about it like that. I'm sure there'd be a lot of people at home that would be sitting on the fence trying to make that decision. What would sort of be your advice to people at home? And Hannah, I might start with you if you don't mind, because I imagine from not being a normal listener to the podcast, probably seeing my head on the TV or on the phone or whatever, thinking, what on earth is this bloke doing? How did it all sort of unfold for you?
So one day, not long ago last year, Sam said, I heard about this property investment company through this podcast that I listened to. It's a SuperCoach podcast. He kind of gave me a little rundown on what you guys had spoken about. Then we looked up the company and we saw that they had a seminar happening, and I decided that I would go to the seminar, and that was about rent vesting. And from then on, we were pretty sold on the idea of buying a property as an investment rather than something to live in straight away. And then, the ball got rolling and we were both pretty much on board. But it is funny to think that this is how it all started.
Can I ask you, Hannah, the seminar you went to, obviously, we're always advertising them, and, me and Tim have been to a few and they've been fantastic for us. We've learned so much. What stood out to you from that seminar?
Well, from the start, I knew nothing about rent vesting. I'd never heard it until Sam kind of gave me a bit of a rundown from this podcast. So I was just shocked at the whole concept of it, but getting my head around the fact that realistically, we probably weren't going to get into the market in Sydney at this stage. So why not get into the market somewhere else that can make us money and go long term rather than look at the short term? It was just a completely kind of different perspective. It shifted our whole goals, and for the better, I think, long term. Yeah.
Sam, can I ask you, mate? I know if I went to my missus and tried to convince her that, for example, Tom and Eddie from Hello Sport are trying to convince me to buy property, I don't know how well it would go down, to be completely honest with you. But, mate, you obviously sold it well. How'd you run through that process?
Well, I think the timing helped. Like, we were at a position where we wanted to take a step. As Hannah said, Sydney, it wasn't a good time for Sydney, but we were ready to take a step, and we were on holiday at the time that this podcast that I heard came out. So maybe the fact that we're in a good mindset and just laid back, that helped. But I will say once, because Hannah attended the seminar, I couldn't actually go, so she took the leap, and she came out of that and it just seemed really clear to her.
And mate, for me, my experience with Blue Wealth Property and why we've always had such a good relationship is, well, for me anyway, I just feel like the education they provide is just second to none. Like if I had to talk about it and talk about property the way I do on the show 2 years ago, I would have stood next to no hope. I would have been in all sorts. And just the way that Tony and the team, honestly, just dumb everything down for me essentially has been an absolute game changer, mate. How have you found working with the team at Blue Wealth Property?
It's been really unreal. Like we were the same. We really didn't know what was going on, but we wanted to do something. from the start, you can tell they know exactly what they're talking about. They have a lot of research behind it, but they do dumb it right down for you, to the point where now I'm sort of preaching it to everyone else, saying, why wouldn't you do this? So they've been super helpful. The process was really smooth, and we're talking about going through the same process for them again, hopefully in the next year or so.
Yeah, really, really exciting. And I guess, guys, for, speaking on behalf of Tim, that's been the big thing that we've taken from just the education that we've gained from it, and how, it hasn't been complicated. It's been so simple, laid out for us, and we've just been able to pick up on so many things that we just had no idea about not that long ago. We're going to bring Tony in a moment to have a conversation with him, obviously the head honcho over there at Blue Wealth Property. So we're going to bring him in now to have a chat with him and talk about the process from their point of view as well, because it is a huge thing to go from listening to me and Tim talk about SuperCoach to buying property. But I hope that you can now see the process and just how straightforward it really is, and how much you can get out of it.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Last time I saw you was on Caxton Street at Magic Round.
Mate,
a little bit worse for wear, just quietly.
I was worse for wear because we lost the game we should have won. All right, don't worry about the alcohol or the Caxton Street scenes. I was blowing up. And who do you want to run into when you've just lost to Canberra? Friggin' Tim Williams. Like, he's the last bloke I wanted to see. I was hoping to avoid him amongst the 5 billion people that were there, but I walked straight into him, as karma would have it.
Mate, 5,000 people on Caxton Street, people everywhere. I could hear Tony's voice from the other end of it. I could hear him coming, and there he was, blowing up about Canterbury. It's all happening. Mate, pretty special day for us here. We've been working up to this sort of stuff for quite some time.
It's actually really cool. Just the thought, when I called you that day and said, mate, I reckon, I'd like to support the podcast, and I reckon there's a lot of your listeners out there that would benefit from what we do and how we educate people. Making that jump for someone to listen to as you said, a couple of dribblers talking about SuperCoach, to then jumping in and making what for most people is a pretty life-changing decision. That's a long bow, so I'm pretty satisfied by that. That's pretty cool.
And, mate, he's gearing up to make a second life-changing decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's for me. That part doesn't surprise me because for most people, once they're in and they understand it, the concept of growing their portfolio and buying more property just makes all the sense in the world. But for most people, you've got to take that first step. Yeah. And for the demographic that listens to SuperCoach, I reckon it'll be younger, and so the rent vesting concept is something that I want more people to understand. It's certainly for us the biggest, fastest growing part of our business.
Yeah.
A lot of Sydney-siders particularly, and maybe some of the people that live in the big cities, Brisbane, Melbourne, they're outpriced from the areas I want to live in, So having an alternative and not just giving up is something that we want to make clear to everybody. You have an alternative. There is a choice. Yeah.
And Tony, for people at home, mate, obviously, Sam listens to the podcast. Hannah, she goes to the seminar. What happens after that, mate? How does it all work once that's done? I don't know if you and Sam want to talk about the process that you guys went through, but I think for a lot of people at home, mate, I think the thing that holds people back in a lot of areas is just the unknown.
Absolutely. Look, for me, it's like anything. If you're looking for a solution for something in your life, you owe it to yourself to open your eyes to what's out there and just get yourself educated. What's the worst thing that could happen? Sam and Hannah came to the event and went, okay, this is not for us. They would, at minimum, would have learned a bunch of new things about the journey that they're on, So for me, I think that's always step number one, putting yourself in a position to get educated. And then from there, it becomes pretty clear, what we're saying resonates with people. So obviously resonated with Sam and Hannah. And then from there, we're built to look after people, The business is built to look after people. There's 25 of us. We've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for 25 years, probably longer than Sam and Hannah have been around. But, yeah, I'm pretty proud. Pretty proud, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, thanks. And we felt looked after the whole time. Not once did we feel pressured into it, especially the first meeting was very much, this is what we do. Go away, have a think if it's what you want. And if it is what you want, come back and talk to me and we'll make it happen. Yeah. And that's what happened.
That's pretty cool. And in the days of, one of the big challenges now, Guru, is that Instagram's made everybody look the same. Yeah. Like I've been doing it for 25 years. Blue Wealth's 15 years old. I've got 25 staff. but you can build a profile on Instagram that makes you look as good as Blue Wolf. Yeah, Guru Property can start tomorrow, and with some good marketing and some smoke and mirrors, look like us. So that's sort of leveled out the playing field a lot, and the advantages that we bring to people get diluted. And it's not until people are on the inside that they realise how much difference it makes. So I'm really happy that you guys enjoyed the journey. I'm biased. Obviously, I think my team are awesome, but that's the feedback we get. They are awesome. Fiona, Roy, Hayes, whoever you dealt with in there, Aaron. So yeah, all great people.
And Guru Properties is already trademarked, so don't bother at home. We're already taking over the space.
Love
okay,
it.
so chill out there.
Kat's the acquisitions manager.
That's everything. Don't worry about that. Shout out to her, wherever she may be. We're going to now bring in Hannah once again, just to have a chat to Tony about her experiences, obviously going to the seminar and whatnot, and what she took from it and the process after that.
Hannah, g'day.
Hello.
It's great to meet you in person.
Yes, you too.
Obviously, I've heard a lot about you guys being Beers and Breakevens people. I'm going to ask you off camera about your tips and how you support Sam in his SuperCoach, because I don't get the same support. Yeah, my wife doesn't like it when I reach to my phone and look at my SuperCoach team when we're at dinner. But I just want to ask you about the event. Credit to you, really, and I hope Sam doesn't get disappointed with me saying this, but really you're the one who made this happen, because I reckon, as Guru said, like if I'd gone to my wife and gone, oh, listen, we're going to go and talk to these property people about potentially buying an investment property from a SuperCoach podcast, she would have laughed at me. She would have thought I was pulling a joke. So credit to you for not judging the environment and going, okay, well, let's suss out what they've got to say. So tell me about the event. Tell me about, so Owen was the presenter?
Yep.
And he's got the English accent. So how did you
Yes.
understand what he was saying?
It was fine. It was good. I understood. Basically, I attended via Zoom, so it made it really convenient. I did it from home, which was awesome. It was a Tuesday night. I remember so clearly, and I just didn't have any concept of what rent vesting was or what opportunities could come with it. And when I went to the seminar, they clearly broke down what it was, how it worked, the benefits to it. They really, really went through everything and broke down every aspect of it, as well as talking about how Blue Wealth support you through the process. So it was a real comprehensive overview of what the process looks like. I left there with pretty much no questions, which was very promising. And then Sam and I had a conversation that night, and we were both on board and ready to have a meeting, and it happened pretty quick from there.
Awesome.
Yeah. It
So
was
not
amazing.
only did you attend this event, having been introduced through a SuperCoach podcast, but you watched the event probably in your pajamas at home.
Yeah.
So this is getting cooler and cooler. So when you said they explain, I mean, what were the sort of one or two key things you learned that you reckon the listeners would benefit from?
So my biggest thing when it came to properties, I was pretty naive. And I always just viewed it the traditional, you buy somewhere to live and that's that kind of thing, which I think is really common for people who don't know much about property. So it really, really gave me a new perspective of how you can make property more of a business venture than a personal purchase, and then build that portfolio, which has really driven us to take a different perspective to property. And I think that was probably the biggest aspect. I was looking at it very personally, and one day we might get a home to live in, but at this stage, I think changing that perspective and getting educated that there's other ways of getting into the market was massive for us. And even just the idea of going interstate and the idea that there's areas that are still developing, and Blue Wealth explicitly explains the areas and they provide you with a portfolio on these areas. And when we went through the process itself after the seminar, we got given options as well. So it wasn't like we got, you must buy, not must, but you have this option and that's it. We got given different states, different developments. We got given apartment options or townhouse options. So it felt we were still making that big choice for ourselves, but we were really supported.
So you ended up in a townhouse
Yep.
in Western Melbourne.
Yes.
Yeah. So Western Melbourne's the fastest growing population in Australia. I'm talking a bit of nerdy stuff now. And as I said to you guys before this, that it's sort of like a movie we've seen before, you know, Western Melbourne is sort of like Western Sydney 15, 20 years ago. And that population is growing rapidly on the back of that sort of movement west. So you and Sam went and had a look at the property.
Yes, yeah.
Tell me about that.
So once we had gone through the process and put a deposit down and everything, once it had settled, we went and had a look, and we were so stoked, and it was more than what we expected, to be honest. And yeah, I'm so grateful that we took that scary step, because it was still scary, but it felt much more supported than just going out on our own. And it felt really like a big accomplishment, which was really nice.
Well, it is a great accomplishment, yeah. Because there are a lot of young people in Australia right now, right around Australia, who, if you listen to the media, have just given up.
Yes.
We can't buy property, we can't afford it, we're never going to get into the property market. And you guys could have really just played victim to that. But instead, you opened your mind to it, you went and got educated, and you found someone you could work with, and you did something about it. So
that's it. And we've recommended it to our friends as well. So, I mean, I think it says a lot. If you're recommending it to your loved ones yourself, then it must be a good process.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, that makes me pretty happy.
Yeah. No, I'm really grateful that Sam listens to this podcast.
So is Guru, so is Tim. Although we probably should have asked Sam whether the boys have been any help this year. They don't seem to be going all that well themselves. So.
He's
I
beaten
reckon
both
Sam's
of us
ranks-
just quietly, so I'm not stoked he's here, rubbing it in my
Sam
face.
might be the next host.
He would love that.
No, guys, we just want to thank you very much for coming in. I suppose I don't want to speak for Tony as well, but I know that one thing we love about working with Blue Earth Properties is that we're working with good people. And to meet you both and have you both in here and see how much fantastic people you are, it is absolutely unreal. So thank you very much for coming in. And if you are sitting at home and you would like to be a part and go on the same journey as Sam and Hannah have, the link is in the description to do it via Beers and Breakevens. Link up with Tony, Morts and the rest of the team out of Blue Wealth Property, and they can start your journey today.